I am fighting for my life through these jets flying over my house, y'all. Woosah. Hey, what is up, y'all? It's your girl Danielle, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, what's up? Like I said, my name is Danielle. I'm a self-love and mindfulness coach, and I help Black women reclaim their peace and personal power through mindfulness and emotional mastery. I have a question for you. When you think about a Black woman, what's the first thing that you think about? I'll wait and I'll give you an opportunity to, whether you want to write it down or you just want to think about it, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? You might have thought about resilience, advocacy, fearlessness, being strong. Some of y'all might have thought angry. Some of y'all might have thought a little bit of attitude. But one thing that I found interesting that most people do not associate with Black women is peace. They associate us with being mothers and maybe being wives, maybe being single mothers, maybe, being out there on the front lines, making sure that our men are treated fairly. You may have these visions in your mind of what a Black woman is. But my question is, why are we conditioned to not believe that Black women are associated with peace? As I've been doing a deep dive into my own personal life over the last couple of years, I have realized that peace has not been a foundation for me. I have always thought about how I can be there for others, how I can be of service to others, and I love being of service to others, right? I love being a mom. When I was a wife, I loved being a wife, even though I was to the wrong man. But I realized that I did not make peace a priority. And it's so interesting because it is currently 2025, and there is numerous podcasters out there saying that, Black women, we want you to bring us peace. When the world, it was not created to give us peace. It's difficult walking in and being a brown-skinned woman. And I'm not here to play the victim. I'm here to be real, okay? And my Black women that are watching, I know you feel me. I know you understand what it feels like to walk into a room and want to be your big, bold self, but then realize that you have to code switch because you may be the only one. Or realizing that you have to shrink yourself back and downplay your accomplishments because of a man that might be intimidated by you. I know what it feels like to not be able to accommodate or advocate for yourself because you don't want to be seen as aggressive or too assertive or too much or requiring too much. I know what it feels like to have to deal with those little microaggressions that, just get under your skin, that everybody else tries to act like doesn't even exist. And sometimes we think it just comes from people who are, but the truth of the matter is that it comes from people that look like us too. And I want to let you know that I see you. And my message for you is to make peace a foundation for yourself. I was watching Instagram the other day, and there was a therapist on there. I forgot what her name is. If I remember to do so, I will tag her down below. And she had a video of how essentially it was all these things that Black women could do in order to, create a world that's just for them. And a lot of it had a lot to do with things that we could do, like advocating for policy, and essentially that was really the advice that she gave, was advocating for policy. And I have a different approach because what I wrote in the comments was the fact that I feel like a lot of this is out of our reach. A lot of this are things that cause us anxiety in the first place, right? When we think about how long it took for the Crown Act to be enacted just for us to wear our natural hair, that causes stress. When we think about the amount of times that we, hope for legislation to be passed and we hope for people to change their minds that just aren't changing their minds, that can be a stressor for us. And constantly trying to advocate for ourselves in a world that was just not designed for us is not always the number one answer. And I'm not saying, again, that advocacy is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in our everyday lives, there are things that we can do to make our life more pleasing and more joyful and more peaceful, right? And I know that we are all on sabbatical right now because, they had an opportunity to elect one of us into office and chose not to. So, we are on sabbatical. We are resting. We are not on the front lines. We are not raising up a stink, baby. This is what y'all wanted, so you got it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going on vacation. And I so desperately want for Black women to adopt that mentality moving forward. It doesn't mean that you don't advocate. It doesn't mean that we don't push forward legislation. It doesn't mean that we don't stand firm and flat-footed in our beliefs, but it means that we draw our energy back a little bit and we let some other people take the lead. We allow ourselves to recharge and to be rejuvenated so that when those things finally come up, we have the energy and the capacity to do so. We cannot fight every fight. We were not designed to fight every fight. Y'all, we are leaving this world early. We're leaving our families and our children early simply because we are always trying to stretch ourselves thin, trying to be everything to everybody and never making ourselves a priority in our lives. And you know me, I'm a self-care advocate, okay? I fearlessly and passionately advocate for Black women to take care of themselves. I was at an event this past weekend and I was trying to refine, I'm a businesswoman at heart, so I was trying to refine like how I tell Black women to prioritize themselves. And of course, my goal is there to sell because that's what I do, right? But I don't sell simply with the desire to get money. No, my legacy is way more than that. My legacy is about leaving women with the tools and the skills and the know-how in order to prioritize themselves. That way their children know how to prioritize themselves. I always have my great-great-great-grandchildren in mind when I am making my decisions or when I am doing things, when I'm producing things. So, like I said, when I was at this event this past weekend, I didn't even have to guess what most of the women that came to my table were dealing with. I already knew what they were dealing with. And so I said, you know, what my name was, what it is that I do, what my mission is, and how I do it. And I told them, I said, you know, I really advocate for us to reduce stress, emotional exhaustion, and burnout. Is that something that you struggle with? And almost every single one of them, at least 95% of them, said yes. Because that's just our baseline. Our baseline is running on empty. And I don't know about y'all, but I almost, because of that, okay, literally, and so many of us are running on empty and we just keep going. And I want to tell you, baby, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. Pass the baton without popping a girl over the head with it. If you know, you know. Sit down somewhere, Black woman. You have been a fearless advocate since the dawn of time. And I commend you for your strength. I commend us for our consistency, for our resilience, our desire to see the world be better. But baby, you have to prioritize yourself. Your body is calling out to you. Many of you are losing your hair. You are dealing with autoimmune diseases. You have a strained relationship with your children because you have a strained relationship with yourself. Many of you find yourself constantly dealing with draining relationships, always in struggle love, whether it be with your friends or your family. You find yourself constantly being on edge. You're called angry because you're really anxious and burned out. And somehow you find a way to just keep going. But you can't run like that for the rest of your life. Your family needs you 20 years down the line. Your children need you healthy and well. Your community needs the gifts that lie dormant inside of you. And God needs for you to become the woman that He created you to be. And for some of you, that's going to look different from the way that you're already running your life. For some of you, it's going to cause you to shift your focus from what makes you upset and what you wish that you could change to what you actually already have control over. Because each of you are filled with so much purpose that I hate that we live in a world that pulls away from that purpose because we're simply trying to survive. But what if I told you that if you were to take a step back, rest for just a moment, unload some of these unnecessary burdens, and really get in touch with yourself, Really find out your wants, your needs, and your desires, that is where your true purpose lies. That's where your influence lies. That's where you make the biggest difference in the world, is by leaning in to what's special for you. Not following the crowd, not doing what you see people do on social media, not being pulled in the directions of all these, different things that you see in the news and hear it on these podcasts. Baby, some of this stuff ain't yours to fight. Okay? Stop picking up other people's baggage. Stop trying to convince people that you're worthy. You are worthy. Walk in your worth. Walk in your abundance. And find that thing that lights you up on the inside, because I'm telling you, that's how you change the world. Some of us are out here to be advocates in different ways. Me using my voice on my platform, me creating my books and my podcasts and all these different things that I do, me going out and speaking to women, me selling these books and speaking to women and, advocating for young adults, me raising a strong young girl. I don't like the word strong. Let me change that. A confident, resilient young girl who has the skills and the knowledge to dig deep and take care of herself before she takes care of others. That's my thank you to the world. That's how I make a difference in this world without running myself into the ground. Baby, focus on your garden. Start watering your garden. Start putting those seeds that you're tossing everywhere else and put them in your garden. Focus on your immediate community. Focus on your family. Focus on what's in your reach that brings you joy. That is how you make the difference. Not by stretching yourself thin, by filling yourself up. Because when the time truly comes to have to step up to the plate, you want to make sure that you are armed with everything that you need in order to do so. Black women, sit back and rest. Get back in touch with yourself. Find out why you feel anxious. Find out why you speak to yourself the way you speak to yourself. Start to unpack some of those learned behaviors from the matriarchs that came before you. Start to learn your children. Walk around your own community and see, man, what can I do right here, right now that would make me happy? Some of y'all used to love to paint. Some of y'all like to sing. Some of y'all can cook y'all tails off, okay? And you heal through those things. Black women, it's time to heal our community through the things that bring us joy and peace, that do not stress us out. But baby, that starts with you getting quiet. That starts with you getting still, and that starts with you getting some rest. Black women, sit back. We're always on sabbatical at this point. We got the next 4 years of being on sabbatical. And I assure you, some of us are going to continue to pick up that baton, and I hope that the ones who decide to pick up the baton, that it is truly meant for them to pick up the baton. Because I always say, for me, you're not going to see me protesting. That's just not my thing. That's not my thing. I went to war. I think I've done enough. Okay, I think I've done enough. Excuse me. But I will cook you a meal. I will watch your children. I will tell you how beautiful you are. I will be there to wipe your tears. I will be there to advocate for you to sit your tail down somewhere, okay? Black woman, we deserve rest. It doesn't have to be earned. We deserve it outright, point blank, period. If you all enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Y'all, we just getting started. I feel like I've had a major epiphany over the last couple of weeks, which is why my content has kind of been all over the place. I've been really just trying to find my footing, but I feel like I'm finally in a place where I can breathe, where I can be authentic, and where I'm doing something that brings me joy. And I want to share everything that I have to give with Black women, because we are living life way too stressed out. We're living life way too quickly, and our children and our families are suffering because of it. And we're not creating lives that are in alignment with where we are supposed to be going, where we have the most impact, the most influence, right? And so I want to tell you all about my new book. It's called Cut the Stress, Sis. It is powerful mindset shifts that drastically help you reduce unnecessary stress and strife in your life. Like I said, we're leaving this world early, y'all. We are leaving this world early. And we are now teaching our children to leave this world early, who will then teach their children to leave this world early, who will then teach their children's children's children to leave this world early. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave? I saw my daughter reading this book the other day. And it's funny because in this book, I talk about how the generations before us oftentimes left a legacy of self-sacrifice, and how people like me come in to shake it up. We're here to restore some balance. And seeing my daughter read my words reminds me of that. Reminds me that this is a book that we're supposed to be able to pass on. So learn these skills now, and then pass it down to your children, pass it down to your sisters. Heck, give it to your mama, okay? I know she get on your nerves, okay? And I just, again, I hope you hear my heart. I really hope you hear my heart, because I love us, okay? I love us, and I want for us to get every single thing that we deserve, but that starts with rest, innately. I love y'all. Like I said, make sure that you all like, comment, and subscribe. You know you want to. Make sure you join the tribe. We are learning, growing, and glowing over here, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Peace.
All in my phone, I got options, and I don't wanna tell you to drop it, but I don't wanna play your